highlight. The Colts' Peyton Manning wrote his name in the history books with this 21-yard touchdown pass to Brandon Stokely versus the Chargers. Manning's 49th touchdown of the year eclipsed the single-season record held by Dan Marino. The Colts overcame a 15-point deficit to beat the Chargers 34-31 in overtime. This has been the Energizer Keep Going highlight of the day, presented by Energizer. Keep going.
Just stop. There's more than one victory lane.
Don't like waiting in line? At Staples, we'll get you in and out fast so you can get on with your day. Staples, that was easy.
CBS Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
Even if you've seen every episode of The Amazing Race,
maybe more so as a you came in with
There's
him
no
in the
question.
USFL
Football doesn't define Reggie White. If you think about what he's been able to do through his life, is that he's been a great football player and be known for it, but he's even done more outside. He had a vision for the world. I remember as a young kid breaking in the USFL together, and he'd call me every week and say, "Hey, Steve," he'd worry about me. "Hey, I'm worried about you, brother." And he called everybody brother. And I think that he looked at the world as brothers and sisters. We're a human family, and I think his vision beyond football is what I'll remember about him. I always remember him when he'd sack me and he'd hit me really hard, and he'd pick me up. "Hey, Steve, you know, you okay? You know, come on, let me help you up." I understand that that's an important part of the football piece to Reggie, but there was just, at this point, you said it, at this point you talk about so much more, but Reggie had a vision for the world. It was just a wonderful thing.
Steve, you hit it. I played against him in the NFC East, of course, but I played with him on some Pro Bowl football teams, and I couldn't wait to go and sit up under Reggie and just talk to him about football. But he didn't want to talk about football. Every time I sat next to him, he wanted to talk about life. How are you spiritually, Michael? What's going on in your life? He cared about the person so much more than he cared about anything else.
You know, the first time I ever saw him play, he was with the Memphis Showboats, and I went to visit relatives in Memphis. They said, "You have to go see this guy play." And when I left the stadium, I said, "That is the greatest defensive player that I've ever seen." And then it was fun to find out that he was much a better person than he was a football player once you got to know him.
Well, we talked about his voice.
The voice.
He put that arm
That's
around
right.
you and say,
"Hey, how you doing, Boom? How you doing, Tom?"
And he'd always say, "Hello, old friend, how are you?" You know, I think if you leave a mark, an indelible mark he made as a player in Philadelphia, indelible at Green Bay, as Brett Favre has been what that franchise has been. Reggie White going there year 2 of Favre and Homer changed perception.
That's right.
You know, a black man from the city, no problem. We're going to Green Bay. That we're doing this, and it opened up a lot of things. NFL mark, but his mark as a dad, as a husband, and as a person. I can't believe that he's left his mark at 43 and not 83. Our condolences to the family. He was a friend of all of ours. Back to you.
Reggie White, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 13-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, ordained minister, husband, father, and leader, dead at the age of 43. NFL Primetime with Chris Berman and Tom Jackson will have more on Reggie White and the legacy that he's left behind. That's coming up right after SportsCenter.
Between now and then, we'll have highlights of that Colts-Chargers game. Winner gets at least the 3rd seed in the AFC. And let's just say Indianapolis wasn't the only team to have an NFL record-setting performance. A certain San Diego player got into the act, too. All that plus overtime coming up inside SportsCenter. So how many touchdown passes would Peyton Manning throw today? And upon breaking the record, they didn't stop the game to honor him. They couldn't. Why? Well, we'll show you. The Chargers brought with them the Indy their own high-octane offense. Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Antonio Gates put up some record-setting numbers of their own. And while they were putting up numbers, Big Ben was going down. Roethlisberger knocked down and out. Would that allow the Ravens to beat the Steelers? Stick around. All that and more coming up inside SportsCenter.
SportsCenter, brought to you by Singular Wireless.
When the Colts' Brandon Stokely made his 10th touchdown catch of the season today against the Chargers, it made NFL history. Indianapolis became the first team to ever have 3 receivers record double-digit scoring grabs in the same campaign. 4th team with 3,000-yard receivers. Obviously, Stokely, Marvin Harrison, and Reggie Wayne didn't achieve all that by themselves. Got to give credit where the credit is due. How about the pass protection by that Colts offensive line? And then there is that other fella. That guy, Peyton Manning, 1 touchdown pass shy of Dan Marino's 48-84. Drew Brees to LaDainian Tomlinson. Wait a second, this is the other team. Tomlinson, 74 yards for the score. The Chargers a 7-0 lead. 3rd quarter, Bolts are up 17-9, looking for more. Brees to Antonio Gates, 13th touchdown catch for him, a new NFL record for tight ends. It's 24-9, but here come the Colts, who'd catch the tying touchdown catch. James Monroe, number 48. For Peyton Manning, and it goes to Monroe of all people. 4th and 4. Down 8. Manning, 27 of 44, 383 yards, 1 pick. That time the completion of Reggie Wayne for the first down. Oh, yeah, and Peyton did have 2 touchdown passes in the game. There it is, the record breaker goes to Brandon Stokely. No ceremony because they had to go for 2. They would get it and force overtime. Colts win the toss. Manning to Wayne for 35 yards. First down at the San Diego 12. Manning's old buddy, the kicker, Mike Vanderjagt, from 30 yards away. Of course it's good. Colts win. Manning breaks the record. They clinch at least the 3 seed in the AFC. Chargers' 8-game win streak is history. So Manning makes his mark, and he does so in a victory. Peyton breaks Dan Marino's all-time single-season record for touchdown passes. Might just be a press credential that Ed Werder decides not to throw away.
Before throwing the touchdown pass no other quarterback in history ever has, Peyton Manning appeared to demonstrate authority no other player possesses. Trailing by 8 in the final 3 minutes, he